Hello, my name is Daniel Connolly. I am a CEO and a software engineer at Takeoff LLC. This is me right here. I am showing today a project or product that my company has developed that attempts to automate Java testing generation of code for developers a little bit more than is typically done in the current state of the art. Currently, testing is actually pretty boring, so there's not a lot of developers, even QA people, that are very interested in testing because it's such a manual process. You're given little information. You may be dealing with people's code that it's not your own, and furthermore, you are given initially from the start 0% line coverage. Especially in a situation where you're not using test-driven development. This is like it's a pretty hopeless situation if you're trying to start from scratch building a project, a code base that includes tests. But I believe there is an easier way to do testing. Let me just show you briefly what the current state of the art looks like. So again, if you're not using test-driven development, you might have a project such as this. With no tests currently. This is a project I worked on in my graduate degree with a few others. We had written all this code. It's not super complex code, but it does need a lot of tests to make sure it's working appropriately. Typically, one may go to generate and may go to test, and then they would select each class. They might select some configurations, and then what they're given is this class that's a testing class that includes some imports. Not every one you might need. It also includes, a function parameter, or sorry, a configuration function, and also includes, again, all those little check marks we checked for each function in Landscaper, a test function as well. But you're given nothing in the curly braces, and it's a pretty poor state at the moment. Javauto claims to fix these issues, so it's interesting. It automates mostly the process of generating tests, and unlike the current state of testing, it gives you a lot of information, and you're able to achieve, so far on the projects we've run it on, somewhere in the ballpark of 30 to 40% line coverage on the first run. So obviously we're selling something here, trying to market something, and want to sell testing services, so I will use the software on companies' projects and get them up to speed on their tests, essentially by taking that information again and getting a higher line coverage and more intelligent tests, whatever the company is looking for. And then also we're selling binaries, so if a company wants to run the software and again on the project or multiple projects, they can if they purchase a binary of the software, and then ongoing support for new releases that we might have. So just visit takeoffpdx.com, and there's a little area where you can get into contact with us and schedule a consultation. I have to be quick here because LinkedIn has a limit on videos that can be posted on your page. But just you can pause the video if you would like to see a quick review of all the features that we have compared to the typical state of the art. But without further ado, I will get right down to it. So here we have again a project that includes two projects. This one is the code that I had written in my graduate course, and then this is actually the winner of this competition that we were trying to win. Not me, but someone else, and his code has a lot of classes and even also a lot of complexity, as ours does, but obviously this is way more complex. I think this is 400 lines or something, and would be really a pain to write tests for. So without further ado, I will click this Javauto and notice that a directory structure matching our project's directory structure for our source is imitated. All the classes now have tests classes, and within these test classes are these tests. I need to refresh Gradle because I've told it that the test folder will look like this. And so now it identifies it as a test folder. I just want to take a quick look to show you some of the features. So this is what was generated by Javauto. You get the package name, you get these imports for Mockito and JUnit, which is what we are using for in this demo, but we're open to configuring for individuals' companies' needs. And furthermore, we have any dependencies. This one primarily used one dependency, but there are many classes that are used, and so we just simplified that. If a company didn't want that feature, we could easily take it out. Also, we defined some rules because we are using JUnit, and then also a lot of mocks. So every dependency that we have, every class that is called in this landscaper class is automatically detected, and we mock that class. Furthermore, we have a little setup function here, and this is just to set up things before a class is a test function is generated. And then this is also our test class. So this is more information probably than we need, but the way Javauto works is it will go through each function and determine what mocked classes it needs to mock, or what classes it needs to mock. A lot of information here. So you get the class, you get the function that's called in that class, you get the parameter types. It could be nothing, it could be this object called map location, which we have imported up here in that battlecode.common.star import line. And then also we are identifying what's returned. Notice line 41 would be very difficult to write a test for. It's very long, it includes a lot of information, but with Javauto you don't have to do that. Furthermore, we're given a result of the correct type, automatically identified by Javauto, and then we can also verify if that type is correct. Like I said, you don't need all this information, but you can use this information to build further tests. But let's run the coverage to see how good it is. I'll actually get something ready here as well. Notice here that a lot of the tests will fail initially, but a lot of tests pass. And the reason that is because we are putting in default methods, inputs. So a developer would have to put in their own inputs, but what's received is really good. Look at this, and the difference between these two projects is this is more public, more of the methods are more classes are public, and so more line coverage is able to be achieved, whereas the final bot A project is less so. However, I do want to demonstrate with a little configuration. As I said, if a developer was working with this, they would know how to configure this. Just a little configuration can increase the test code coverage, because a lot of these functions will now, test functions will now pass, and there won't be as many failed tests. So we go from 43 to 58%, which is pretty darn good. Better than the 0% that currently exists. So I just want to throw up the website. If you are in need of this service, or you find it interesting, or think anyone else could use this, please get into contact with us. We have a little area in our website that you can get into contact with us for an hour or a 30-minute meeting. You also can get into contact with me via email or telephone. I'm pretty much available any day of the week or weekend, so don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you for watching this demo, and stay safe.